What's up, everybody? Peter X. O'Coffer here, and welcome to another episode of Hit Songs, the podcast. And today we're doing the most streamed song in the history of Spotify, and of course, I'm talking about "Blinding Lights" by The Weeknd. Did a The Weeknd and personal branding on the video show early on in this channel, so this is my second time, stepping up and doing The Weeknd. 4.3 billion streams, the only song with over 4 billion streams on Spotify. I haven't checked to see how many he's at 3 billion, but probably not many. This song came out November 29th, 2019. Obviously it hit number one. It didn't have a real long run at number one. I think it actually hit number one twice. But what is it about this song? Why is this song so addictive? Well, we're gonna get into that. 3 minutes 22 seconds the song clocks in at. Various writers, but The Weeknd is one of them. Max Martin is another one. As a writer, Max Martin is probably the most prolific writer for artists, in the 21st century. So in the last, 24 years now, this is his 23rd number one song. I think he has, he has other ones as a producer. So, this guy knows what he's doing. Yeah. So Blinding Lights is listed as synth pop, electro pop, new wave, synth wave. There's a very 80s sound, and I'm not not going to say that nothing, it seems like everybody's doing something. All these old sounds are being, recycled in some way, but this is the first one to really hit it big. And this is kind of a new wave, and no pop folks are really mining new wave. Obviously, because there's a following, and I forget what it's called now. I think it's called synthwave now. But new wave kind of merged. New wave came out of punk, and then kind of converged with disco into EDM. So, interesting little history. So but new wave wasn't very long. It was maybe the early 80s to maybe 85, 86, and then, it sort of kind of died out. But it also kind of went into goth rock a little too. So, new wave did influence that as well, which came later in the 80s and into the 90s. But this has a very 80s feel to it, and it's interesting. There's a lot going on here. So, interesting thing, I tried to figure out what the BPM is, and I don't have one of those. There's apps you can get for your phone, or for for your digital audio workstation. It will tell you the BPM of it. I don't know how accurate they are. I never really bothered to jump in to see which ones are accurate. Usually I just Google it. So some folks had this song at 70 to 80 BPM, which it is not. Probably whatever app they were using, or whatever with, probably app, because I don't think something connected to a DAW would be this far off. It was probably focusing on the bass line, which is a pretty interesting bass line in this song. It's not overly active, certainly like a funk bass line, but it works. It comes out of EDM. I don't know, because there's like 30 or 40 subgenres of electronic dance music, but I'm gonna say it's kind of in the dubstep thing. The song's in D sharp major, but the BPM is 136. I did find that, and it sounds about right. Doing enough songs. 64 songs I think I've done on my 5 albums. I can, that 136 sounds about right. So lyrically, the song is about missing a lover and getting ready to settle down. Um, the video has, the Weeknd's driving around in Vegas doing some drugs, gets beat up by some criminals. He's in a pretty souped up sports car. Um, but yeah, this song is very intense. And usually when you think of intense, you're like power chords, of a guitar or a guitarist, someone shredding, or funk, with the horns, hits, and, drum fills, maybe a slap bass. None of that's happening. Well, I think one of the things that brings the intensity here is the tempo. I mean, it's at 136 BPM, which is a little faster than most songs that we're used to. So, I mean, the default on a digital audio workstation or a drum machine is 120, and I've seen pop's songs go up to about 124, maybe 128. So, the tempo's up there, faster than most. I mean, funk and hip hop tend to be from about 80 to 110, and let me see. So 130 to 145 is usually kind of where house and techno's at, and then you get into other genres of EDM, and the tempo, the BPMs pick up. I hear some people say trap can get up to 160, 170 BPM, and I think that's more or less the hi-hats, because trap is known for their hi-hats, but I don't know, the BPM, which is tied to the drum beat. I mean, that's, is not that high. So hey, the default for digital audio workstations and for most folks is to focus in on the drum beat to see what the beats per minute or the tempo's at. But yeah, 136. So that gives it that's a pretty fast tempo for most pop songs, and that's what kind of gives it that drive and that intensity. The video plays into the song perfectly. I mean, it's very fast-paced video. So, yeah, just a great job of that video too. And it certainly adds to the intensity of the song. So, song is interesting because there is a contrast that leads to this, I think, to the intensity of the song. And it's it's upbeat and has that bright synth sound, and the melody is hooks you and is upbeat, but then you have these lonely lyrics, and I think there's that dissonance, and that piques your interest, and then of course that synth line is the hook. Dun, 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 and that's not 170 to 180 BPM either. I mean, it's faster than 136, but hey, that's addictive. That's what gets you. The minute you hear that, and I've watched a couple of Weeknd concerts, and they'll play that, and everybody knows that's the song, and they know what's coming. Yeah, but and I do think the synth bass is different, but it works. He drops it in and takes it out. The other thing that he uses to build intensity though is his lyric, is how he sings the song. So Miles Davis used to say, it's not always what you play, it's what you don't play. And, the jazz folks are found to saying, silence is important. And, in funk, they call the ghost notes. So, sometimes those are, little pops or squeaks or whatever. But sometimes the ghost note is nothing. And, but so, he starts off, singing, and as the intensity builds in the song and his story, he moves up in his vocal register, and also the cadence speeds up as well. So there's not as many rests, as he builds the intensity of the song. So it's a brilliant um, vocal job as far as the Weeknd goes. I mean, it's the tempo, it's the contrast of the bright upbeat music and the lonely lyrics, and then it's how he sings it, and going from a lower register to his higher registers, and also the tempo. So, and there's also parts of the song that are in pentatonic, which are 5 notes instead of the regular 7 notes. So it leaves that sort of a state of unfinished. So it kind of leaves you hanging. So there's a lot going on with this song, and that's why this song is so addictive and it has 400 plus billion streams. So yeah, I really love this song. Hey, a pretty simple song, but very well executed. Um, I know I was on Facebook after the Super Bowl when he did the halftime show, and the Prince fans were trashing him, and he's like, "Oh, he's trying to be Prince." Da da da. I was like, "No, he's not trying to be Prince. He's not. He's not really doing funk. I mean, this is this is new wave. In the 2020s." And and his guy, he's more of a Michael Jackson person than a Prince person, which is fine. But hey, this dude is, he's stacking hits. This is just a simple song that is extremely well executed and has an amazing video that perfectly goes along with the song. So yeah, it's another short one. Usually these, when I do a song, it's pretty short. But hey, the song was only 3 minutes and 22 seconds. But hey, I don't know if this keeps stacking the streams. I don't know. I don't think anybody's close to coming to it. So good luck in trying to catch Blinding Light somebody. But anyway, thanks for coming through. I got 5 albums of my own. They're right here on my YouTube channel. They're also on all the streaming services, and I record under the name Exodus, Xodus. And I also have 2 science fiction fantasy novels and a novella on Amazon. So thank you again for coming through, and I will see you next episode.